What's up, guys? Hey, this is Christian Brindle with Six Figure Medicare Agent. Hope this video finds you doing well. And today I have a really special guest for you, and I'm really excited to be able to talk with him. I got Kenny Lammons here with me from the YouTube channel Medicare Millennials, which is a channel that I just recently discovered, and I think it's awesome. If you haven't already, go over and subscribe to it. I'll actually leave a link down to it in the description, so make sure you go check it out. Kenny, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here, man. Happy Monday to you.
As to you. I would say that Monday is the most chaotic day, but also the most exciting day at the same time. So hopefully yours is going well so far.
My Mondays are weird because from like 6 a.m. to maybe 10 a.m., I'm stressed out. And then I get my list, I organize, I get excited, I get kind of cleaned up and my plan laid out a little better. And then it's the second half of Monday is excellent. So
I can sympathize. I always try to go to the gym first thing in the morning on Monday, and then I always like to try to get some reading done first thing in the morning. So I kind of lay out like 3 hours for myself, and people always call me, and then they leave messages, and it seemed like they just can't leave me alone that early in the morning. And so then my mind is like spinning, and I can't focus on what I'm doing because I'm like, what did they call about? So that's Monday for you.
It's funny that you say that, though, because I used to try to start off on the right foot like that Monday morning. But what happened was I couldn't focus on my workout or whatever I was doing. So from 6 to 10 in the morning, I kind of just get all the voicemails and texts, get them cleaned up. And then I go for my run or I go get my workout with a little bit more of a clear head. So anyway, tip for tat.
I like it. Well, Kenny, for anybody that's not familiar with you, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us how you got into the business, where you're at today, how you got there, just the whole 9 yards. I want to hear the whole story.
Okay, great. I don't have a big fancy story like a lot of the awesome guests you've had on before, but I do think I have a pretty relatable story to where a lot of agents that may view your channel are at or where they'll be shortly. So I have been in the business for 5 years. Okay, I was an accountant, graduated with an accounting degree, got an offer from a Big Four accounting firm in Dallas, and I didn't do it. I didn't take it. I didn't follow through on that. I don't know why, but in my heart, I just knew it wasn't for me. And I stumbled through a couple of jobs in the oil field, etc., until I stumbled on an Indeed ad for an insurance position. I said, hey, I've always wanted to do sales. Maybe this is for me. A week later, I get my license in like 3 days and I'm rocking and rolling. So I was with a captive agency that pretty much did Medicare and final expense at first when I was first there. And by captive, we had multiple carriers, but we were LOA. We very much followed pretty strict guidelines on how things worked. It was very low commission, but very hands-on training, just like at any captive organization you can imagine. And I did pretty well that first year. My sales skills weren't great. We sold supplemental policies too, not Medicare supplement. Of course that, but like cancer, dental, vision. And ironically, they called me the Cancer King the first year because for whatever reason, the non-core products with low sales skills, I was able to close a lot of those. So that was good. But guess what? That didn't really pay the bills early on, So eventually I get my head around being more aggressive and better skills, start doing really well in final expense and cross-selling at least a handful of Medicare supplements a month and really learning that space. Fast forward 2.5 years, I'm training, managing. You know how captive shops work. They had me doing everything from top to bottom, top producer, trainer, but kind of getting paid peanuts. I didn't own that book of business. So finally learned I had outgrown that opportunity and I appreciate it. I learned a lot, but I learned a lot foundationally, but I didn't take much financially away from that with me, right?
Right.
So I graduated with my best friend and business partner, Ethan Gladwell. He's on my channel, Medicare Millennials, with me to our own independent opportunity. We spent the first year doing pretty much the same thing, direct mail, cross-selling final expense, leave Med Advantage on the table. How dumb. I wish I wouldn't have been doing that. And then take the med subs that you could get. And we could easily earn a 6-figure income doing that. And we did, but it wasn't building anything much long-term because we just weren't as focused on the Medicare piece. So we kind of stumbled through a couple of opportunities, phone sales, this, that, and the other. Finally, we were introduced to Medicare Advantage. We were brainwashed that we didn't need Medicare Advantage. It's confusing. There's too much compliance. They can pull the plug on your commissions anytime. You can lose your license, right? All of these bullcrap narratives they put out there. Finally, we were convinced to give it a shot, and it changed our whole business. What I mean by that is we were already doing really well at what we did, but we were fishing in the wrong pond. Okay, we were spending money on leads. We're seeing lots of clients. We had lots of knowledge for our consumer and to share with other agents. But we didn't have a plan that over the course of time was really going to grow our business and pay those financial dividends until we incorporated Medicare Advantage, used the same systems mindset, leads, system, duplication, and applied it to Medicare first. Final expense second, annuities second, and cancer policy second, Medicare's niche. Here we are 9 months later. You know, I should write it. COVID's thrown a bone in this, so this number's fluctuated, but at least 350 this year. I could still hit 500 new Medicare plans this year.
That's
Ethan
amazing.
will do more than me. He's about 50 ahead of me right now, so he'll do close to around 500. And really just laying that foundation that we should have done 3.5 years ago, right?
Right.
And then outside of that, I've got this YouTube channel because, look, I'm not a heavy recruiter at all. In fact, that's not even my main goal with my YouTube channel. I just love sharing my journey with new agents. You know, I really want to cut through the bull crap and have conversations like this with other agents so that they can find success earlier than I did. Hope that wasn't too long-winded. I kind of tried to condense down a lot. But that's where we're at today. We're focused on building our foundational book and then expanding into brand building and training and different things slowly, secondarily.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, great job. I'm sure I don't need to tell you how many agents will never write that many policies ever in their whole career. So, I mean, fantastic job. I mean, that's great. One question I had for you that kind of jumped out at me, you know, when you guys were first getting started in terms of primarily kind of focusing on the med sup side of things, it sounds like primarily on what would you tell a new agent that might be getting into the business that might be trying that same model in terms of trying to sell med sup only because maybe they saw a YouTube video that talked about how bad Medicare Advantage was for all the reasons that you mentioned. What would you say to an agent like that might have reservations about selling Medicare Advantage?
Sure. Okay, so first of all, it goes without saying that Medicare Advantage is more and more popular, and we just see no end in sight, okay? So by no fault of your own, even if you're passionate about Medicare supplements, you're going to leave business on the table, period. Some folks, even wealthier folks, want Medicare Advantage. So you're pigeonholing yourself and you're crippling yourself a little bit from a business standpoint. But I would also say, okay, let me say this. If you were going to do like a telemarketer, over the phone only, calling for people that are 67 plus to save them money on their Medicare supplement exclusively, more of like a Christopher Westfall type operation, you can do just MedSup because those people already have MedSup. They don't want to change from MedSup. All they want to do is save money. So there are routes where it can make sense just to do MedSup. However, if you do T65s, if you work a local market, right? If you work your local area and maybe go see your customers, if you do seminars, almost any other business model is going to give you a closer to a 50-50 mix of Med Advantage and MedSup buyers than you imagine. Mm-hmm. So don't pigeonhole yourself. You can focus on one, but you must offer both in most situations and most business models. So, because I didn't, right? And I left hundreds of policies on the table that I could have helped those clients, and I didn't. So, yeah,
I think it's a great point. Like for me personally, you know, we offer both here in our office, and we always have, like from day one. And I can't imagine a situation where I was trying to only sell med supp. Like it's hard for me to picture myself as maybe like, fast forward to back when I was getting started, we were working turning 65 clients, or we were working leads, or whatever we were doing. And I was trying to basically only sell a med supp, because with all the advertising of Medicare Advantage, with all the commercials, with the Joe Namath commercials and all this stuff going on, like I can see that. I think it's getting increasingly more and more difficult to only do med supp, unless your business model is specifically structured in such a way. But I agree. I think it's a great point. Let's talk about captive shops for a second here. I think you have a great perspective on that because you have so much experience with that. Would you say captive shops are a good opportunity for a new agent if it's the right opportunity, if they can work with the right organization, or do you think agents are better off just going independent from day one? What's your opinion on that?
I think it's a great opportunity for some new agents, okay? And I do a whole video on this because I'm passionate about it. Listen, captive LOA situations are not bad because inherently they're bad. They're bad at times because people don't know what they're getting into, okay? They don't realize that book of business does not belong to them. They are not told that, hey, you're getting a lower commission than an independent agent, but here's what you get in return, right? So it's the deceptive factor that is bad about it, okay? Because here's the good things. Let's say you take a lower call and you don't retain that book of business, but you just get a lead source you don't pay for or pay minimally for, one of the two. You get hands-on, managers riding with you to your appointments, raw meetings once or twice a week, office space to work out of. You may find you go and do that and you never want to leave. Or know what you're getting into and say, look, I'm going to do this for 1 year. I don't have a lot of money to put into it, so I need that structure. I need that hands-on coaching. I'm not putting any money into it. But when I leave after a year, whatever that time is, I'm not walking away with a big book of business. I'm not walking away with a lot of renewals. My captive agency, actually, I'm vested, so I still get a renewal check from them, but it's not mine, right? And I'm thankful for that. They were honest in that way. There were some things I didn't like, but so there are captive opportunities where you can go get that hands-on training and actually, believe it or not, as long as you leave and don't violate the terms and conditions of y'all's contract, you can be vested and you'll still even get some renewals, albeit much lower than what you'll get on the independent market. That said, it's not for everybody. If you're a real go-getter, you already have sales experience, you got money in the pocket to throw at leads, get with the right IMO, the right upline, and go independent. But not everyone's at that position. And a lot of people would have maybe made it had they had a little bit of time captive, but didn't make it because they jumped completely independent. Just my opinion. A lot of folks say never captive, never captive. I don't believe that. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of great insight there. And I think, if you asked me this question a year ago, I probably would say, oh, never captive. But I've changed my approach on this. I think I've changed my view on this quite a bit. I think that there are some situations as a captive shop that's a great opportunity for agents. As I've kind of gotten to know some people that have been in captive shops and, they are able to, everything that they do have provided to them. I think it just depends on the situation, but I think that there's definitely a place for it. And some people need that. Some people don't. Some people just want to go to work and go home. Right. And I think that's probably the perfect ideal situation for an agent that might not want to, put 80 hours in just to kind of get off the ground, in a week. What is your ideal way of generating business? What kind of lead sources are you guys working?
Yeah, we're huge direct mail guys right now. And as our book has grown pretty rapidly, and we were getting referrals before this, we do get a lot of referrals. So we have an assistant that's helping us work our book. That's secondary source of leads is referrals right now. But number one, the way we're able to write hundreds of policies a year is direct mail leads. We laser focus on it. There's nuance to direct mail. You can't just go, I'll pick this lead and mail it wherever. Like there's nuance, so you need to find someone to help you navigate that. But once you've got that demographic down, it's just very controllable, predictable, duplicatable. And so, yeah, direct mail is our preferred. It's how we're laying the foundation of our business. It won't be our number one lead source forever, but it is for now in the foreseeable future.
Gotcha. And, direct mail is, they always say it's tried and true, a lot of agents will, I don't know. I mean, I guess, look down on direct mail leads, and I don't get it, because that's not as sexy as running a Facebook ad or something like that, but there's nothing that's going to be as high intent, I feel, as a lead in terms of a lead as a direct mail lead, because the person fills it out, they walk it out to the mailbox, they put it in, like it's not a 2-second thing where they click on something and then it auto populates their information for them, like on a Facebook lead or something like that. So I figured as much, but I agree. I think direct mail is tried and true, and I think it's something that agents can rely on, and you know what you're getting for sure.
Keep overlooking it, guys. That'll just drive my return rates higher. I'm kidding. I want you all to get there. If you're a new agent, you really should give that a second look, because it's not about sexy. It's about what will work in your business to help you get started reliably. And that's a great option.
Where do you see Medicare Millennial going? What is your long-term view on the channel? Where do you guys want to see it go? And what do you want to see it end up accomplishing at the end of the day?
I'm very passionate that we don't have enough young guys like me and you in this business. I truly am. I have so many friends that are stuck in a job that they're unhappy with, or they can't get a job. They're drowning in student loan debt or other different things. They feel there's no opportunity for them. The boats miss them. Well, guess what? Maybe insurance doesn't sound glamorous to you, but Medicare beneficiaries love working with younger folks. Not that if you're middle-aged or older that you're not going to be successful, but they love working with a Christian Brindle or a Kenny Lammons. There is an opportunity here for us to fill the shoes of thousands of retiring agents to assist in a booming market with demand that just is not being met. So I see Medicare Millennials as being a no bullshit channel to open the eyes for younger people that want to get into the business. Here's how it works. Here's a couple of young guys doing it and explaining how we're doing it, and helping bridge the gap to get more people into this space. That's what I foresee. We'll see where it goes.
Well, I love it. I love the mission. I think the industry needs more people like you guys putting out that content and kind of documenting your experience as you grow your agency. And, props to you. That's all I can say. I think you guys are doing great, and the industry needs it. So keep at it. Last question I got for you, Kenny, and then we'll wrap this up. What is your long-term view in the industry for yourself? What is your long-term goal? Where do you want to get to at the end of the day?
Oh, that's a tough question.
$1 million question.
Like a medium-term goal, and that medium-term goal is just to personally have 1,000 Medicare clients on the books. I'm tearing that goal to shreds. In other words, it's going to happen way sooner than I thought. Okay, so I got to start thinking bigger. Look, I want to run a small agency that's local to my Dallas-Fort Worth area forever. I want to service my book of business forever. Beyond that, I want to help other agents get into this business. So I really think it's to actively run my book of business successfully, and then help other agents open their eyes to the opportunity. And if they so choose, help them get to the same spot that I'm at. So yeah.
You're off to the races. So great job. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for the time, and everybody make sure to go subscribe to Millennial Medicare. Do yourself a favor. These guys are putting out good content, and they're producing like crazy. So follow them, follow what they're doing, and you might be able to duplicate some of that success. Kenny, thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me, Christian. I follow you a lot, man. You're doing a really good job out there. For whether you're a brand new agent or an experienced agent, you bring value across the board. So thanks for talking to me for a little bit today.
Hey, well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll have to do it again soon.
All right,
everybody. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment on what you'd like to see on future videos, and subscribe for future six-figure Medicare agent content. Have a good one. Take care.